right? What was that? That was our problem with the Mishnah yesterday. David didn't have a problem with it, but the guy made a neder that he, I'm telling you, I didn't eat. And then he makes the neder, and then he says, oh, I forgot I did eat. And the neder is null and void, right? So that's what Zechira is, to remember things so that you don't make Nedarim, bad Nedarim, or whatever it is. Okay, so we had started the Mishnah on Chof Hey Amud Beis, and we started the Gemara on that. So the Gemara had the Mishnah had a case if a guy saw people eating his figs, and he said, all you guys are all also to eat my figs. But then in the crowd that was eating his figs, he saw it was his father and his brother were there, which is some interesting why the Mishnah needed to say father and brother. Right? Why couldn't a father's not enough? I can understand brother, maybe your brother you don't want to let him eat. Fine. But the father l'chara should be enough. I'm not so sure what Achiv is adding, what that's adding. But either way, the point is that that's a neder b'shoigeg, because nobody would make his neder that his father should be assur to eat his figs. So the whole thing was so it's a mistake. So the question is, do we just say that since part of the neder, meaning let's say there were 10 guys eating there, two of them were his relatives, his father and his brother. So 8 of them he's taka upset at, that he doesn't want them to eat the figs. 2 of them he made him neder by mistake. So Beis Shamai says that we split it. So for 8 of them it's a neder, and for the 2, the father and the brother, it's not a neder. And Beis Hillel says no, it's everybody's mutter, because once part of the neder becomes mutter because it was a mistake, so then all the entire neder gets wiped out. All right, so that was the Mishnah. So then the Gemara had said that if somebody makes a neder that he's not going to eat meat or wine the whole year, and then we ask him, buddy, when you made this neder, did you realize that you have Shabbos and Yom Tov, that you're not going to be able to have meat and wine? So if the guy says he didn't realize it, so we used to say that, okay, so on Shabbos and Yom Tov, he's allowed to eat meat and wine, but the rest of the year he can't because he made a neder. And then Rabbi Akiva came along and said, no, neder shehuter miktsasoi huter kuloi. Once we're matter part of the neder, so we're matter the whole thing. That's what we're holding. Now we have a Machlokes, Rava and Rava, as to how to understand the Machlokes Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel. So I don't know if the Olam has a hard time with this. I always have a hard time with these type of Gemaras where you have a Machlokes and how to understand a Machlokes, right? So that's not easy right off the bat. But let's see. So the first to understand the initial Machlokes is not so hard. It's just the kashas are more difficult. And so Amar Rava, we're 6 lines up from the bottom on Chof Hey Amud Beis. So Amar Rava, Kuli Alma. Again, let's just to make sure we have it straight. Beis Shamai says that you could split a neder that was made by mistake. You could split it. Again, where a bunch of people are eating this guy's figs, and 2 of them, using the example, 2 of them, the father and the brother, are doing it. So that's clearly that he made a neder b'shoigeg. He made a mistake to make a neder on the father and the brother. So them 2, according to everybody, are going to be okay. The shaila is, what's with the other 8 guys? Beis Shamai says the other 8 guys are not allowed to eat the figs, and Beis Hillel says they are allowed to because we wiped the whole thing, the whole neder clean. So Rabba is going to explain their machlokes. The kuli alma, meaning both Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel, kol heicha damar ilu hayisi yedei sha'aba beinechem. If the guy says, had I known that my father was between you, see here the Gemara leaves out the brother. And had I known that my father was amongst you guys who were eating my figs, I would have made a neder, and what I would have said is, I'm keeping my neder except for my father. Right? So then, if he would have said that, then both Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel agreed the kulan asurin. They're all assur, but of mutter, and the father's mutter, right? Because he maintained his original neder. So there he's saying everybody would agree that you do split it, and the other people are also to eat it, and the father is mutter. But the Machlokes between Beis Shamai and the Mishnah is if he said that had I known my father was there with you guys, I would have said a different neder. I would have said Pliny upliny asurin, you and however many people were there, I would have told them that they're assur to eat, but Abba mutter, and my father is mutter. So he said I would, had I known my father was there, I would have made a total different neder. There is a Machlokes Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel. Again,
his brother was still, it doesn't say his brother.
Yeah, I don't know. We dropped the brother. It's an interesting thing. They just totally dropped the brother. I'm sure somebody must say so. I didn't see anything on it, but I didn't really look too hard, to be honest with you. So anyways, but the point that the Gemara is trying to say, that Rava is trying to say, is that if the guy would have maintained his original neder, and he just would have said, except for my father, then everybody says that the original neder stands. The Machlokes is where he would have reworded his neder. He would have totally reworded his neder. So there, Beis Shamai says that we split the neder, and Beis Hillel says we don't. That's Rabba's way of explaining it. The Rava Amar on Talmud Aleph now. There's a reason why the Rans are very long on this stuff. The Rava Amar, and Rava says the Kuli Alma, he says the opposite. Everybody will say Kol Heichad Amar when he says Ilu Hayisi Yedei Sha'aba Beinechem, that had I known that my father was with you, I'm replying to you, assur and v'abba mutter. In that case, Kula Mutar, then everybody, Beis Shamai, Beis Hillel hold that he's going to, then they're going to be mutter. Because everybody says that once the guy who made the neder says, I would have changed the neder, then everybody agrees that the neder is totally bottled. The only Machlokes is where the guy says, had I known that my father was by you, I would have said, which is more the original neder, that you guys are still all assur except for my father. So Beis Shamai Sabri look at meir. Beis Shamai holds like meir, the Amar Tafas Lashon Rishon. Meir holds that you always go with the first thing that came out of the guy's mouth. And Beis Hillel Sabri look at Rav Yosi. And Beis Hillel holds like Rav Yosi, the Amar B'Gemar Devarav Adam Nitfas. We always go with the last things that came out of a person's mouth. This case is talking about this Machlokes from Meir and Rav Yosi is talking about a case in Tamura where a person says that Tamura is not allowed. Meaning, if you're bringing a carbon and you want to swap it out for another animal, that's assur, right? But what happens is it's assur, but both animals retain their kedusha, meaning, one retains it and one gets it. It's sort of like, I don't know if it's a knas, but you're not allowed to swap it out. But if you did, they both become hektish. So what happens if a guy says that this is going to be a tmura for an oila and a shlamim? So which one did he mean? Is it an oila? Do these kavanas become an oila? They become a shlamim. So if you go with Rameir says it goes with the oila because he said that first. And if you go with Rav Yosi, then he says he goes with the shlamim because the shlamim is last. Okay, and then the question is how it all plays itself out. That it becomes that they're both hektish. You got to wait for it to get a mum, etc., etc. But but that's the Machlokes of Rav Yosi. So here too, when the guy says, had I known my father was with you, I would have said all of you are assur, except for my father. Right? So Beis Shamai is going to hold like meir that we go with the original, and since we go with the original, he said that they're all assur. So therefore, they're all assur. And even though there's no neder on, the neder starts on everybody, and then he excludes his father. But Beis Hillel says, like Rav Yosi, he says we go with his gemar, is the end of his words. The end of his words is that except for his father, right? And it was meaning, and the thing that he said in the first place was a mistake. So therefore, it's not therefore the whole thing is not a neder. So that's the machlokes. Fine. So now the Gemara is going to ask a few kashas on Rava. Again, Rava was this last opinion here, that when he changes the neder, everybody holds that the whole neder is mutter. And when he doesn't change the neder, he sort of sticks with the original one, just tweaks it a little bit. There you have a machlokes Beis Shamai Beis Hillel. Fine. So assur Rava Rava. So Rava has the kasha.
Why, according to Rava, is changing the neder any different than twice lashon achra, than tmura arezu, tmura soilo, tmura shlama?
What are you saying?
Rava learns that there's a machlokes Beis Shamai Beis Hillel in the second case where he doesn't change the lashon of the neder.
Correct.
But if he does change the lashon of the neder, why is that different than arezu, tmura soilo, tmura shlama? Why doesn't Beis Shamai hold in that case also like her meir? Twice lashon rishon.
Who said? I don't know. Who says he doesn't? I'm saying we're not handling that now.
Because Kali Alma, this Rava said, it was the first part of Rava. Everyone would agree that it's Hutzah Mitzasi Hutzah Kulai. But if he holds twice lashon rishon, why would it be?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, okay. Is that going to be that they have to say they're totally aligned? Maybe.
But see, Yaakov, everyone holds that there's an idea of ma'amid dvarav over here, and whether you're the first case or the second case. So when you're ma'amid dvarav, when your mama says your words, everyone's masking.
Yeah, but here he's not being sois to them.
What do you mean?
I mean,
according to the Kuli Alma case, he is being sois to them. He's saying, I'm going back on whatever my words were not true. Everyone in that case, your mom is sois to the words. In the second case, you don't have to be sois to the words. At least that's the way the Ran says it. Where you're saying to the exclusion of my father, it could fit with the original words. So you're tafas asur. And if your ma'amid dvar to say that those people are assur and my father's mutter, that's sois your dvarim. And then it's not tafas asur. You were sois your dvar. You're allowed to be ma'amid dvar.
But by
so
that is soiser.
Then hutter makes us hutter kula. You were sois your words. You're allowed to be ma'amid dvar and explain what you meant. And if you're being sois your words by saying these people are assur and these people are mutter, then it becomes that hutter makes us hutter kula. Everyone's going to be masking in that case. It's only because in the second case where you said kula, you're not being sois your words by going out and saying chutz me'aviv, and therefore you're tafas asur.
So he doesn't really hold like her meir. He only holds like her meir when he's not sois to dvar.
Right. It's not right. Exactly. It's not mamish analogous to the case of her meir.
I think they handled this. Somebody.
The Ran goes through it, but he doesn't hold mamish the exact.
It's not an exact parallel case.
It's
not an exact parallel case. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's not. Yes.
The Ran says kol shekain if he's not soiser, but as mashma if he is soiser, he would hold like her meir also.
I'm not sure. I'm having a hard enough time just getting the shot, much less. Okay, so anyway, so let's see. So assur Rava. So again, Rava asked a kasha on Rava. So Ketzad, Amar Rabbi, this is a continuation of the previous mishna that we brought about Rabbi Akiva. Ketzad, Amar Rabbi Akiva, right? What did Rabbi Akiva say? How did he say it? The neder shuta miktsasa huta kula, where there's a neder that's huta miktsasa huta kula. Right now, you can't even make this up. That this is there's three cases now that the Gemara is going to say. Sometimes the Gemara refers to case 1 and case 2 as the Reisha, and sometimes it refers to case 2 and case 3 as the Seifa, and sometimes it refers only to case 1 as the Reisha and case 2. I don't even know. I'm saying, I'm trying to. There's three cases here. Sometimes the Gemara refers to it as Reisha, sometimes it refers to it as Seifa. So let's see. So what are the cases? Kainam, a guy makes a neder. He says, I'm not going to get hana from any of you people. So hutter echan mehen, hutru kulam. If one of them becomes mutter, then they all become mutter. Right? Meaning, he came and he saw a whole chevra of guys, and he said, I'm not getting hana from any of you people. Then he realized, 1 second, his father was in the crowd. Right? So then once it becomes batal because of the father, it becomes
Why does
batal
it
for all.
become, in such a case, why does it become, but we had 20 cases where he assed his wife on him. So why is his father different than his wife?
I guess he's different. I guess the mitzvah kibbut aim.
This is where he goes in front of Beis and says he didn't meet to make his father, and they found the Pesach.
They didn't have to find the Pesach.
So why is it mutter?
It's a neder b'shaygig. It's a shaygig.
It's not valid to begin with.
Correct. It was a mistake.
They never would have made it.
So why we had all the Gemaras before they had to find the Pesach? I guess they was b'shaygig.
What? They weren't a shaygig.
There weren't cases where
This is a Pesach. Why is it more
It's
than
not a Pesach. You don't need a
If I
Pesach.
would
It
have
was a
known my
shaygig.
father, I would have known my father. How's that not one of the Pesach?
It's not a Pesach. Pesach is would you have made? Okay, you want to call it a Pesach? Okay, no.
Would
I
you
hear
have
what
known?
Naftali's saying.
Would you have known that Besdin that you would upset the Rabbanim? B'shaygig.
You're right, 100%. We allow you 100%. Maybe he's calling it a Pesach. Okay, it could be it's a Pesach, but I don't think it's saying it's not even a neder in the first place, right? A Pesach means it's a neder. Let's get you out of the neder. Here we're saying it's not even a neder in the first place. But he's asking a good question, Naftali. Why is that not? Why is it different than a Pesach? Right? This is a form of Pesach. He would never have made the neder. It was his father. If it was his wife, I guess he would have, Rabanan. Right? He would have. He cares more about his father than his wife. I don't know.
Wait, it's a mitzvah of keep it up. There's no mitzvah to honor your wife, is there?
Oh, there's definitely a
Why are
mitzvah
you
on
putting
your
in a
wife.
different mitzvah?
What's the mitzvah?
It's
the
oh,
What are you
what's the
putting in
actual
keep it up?
mitzvah?
What are you
Right.
putting in keep it up for?
Oh,
Maybe
keep it
his
out.
father's allergic to figs. What are you putting in the?
Yeah.
Even if he's not,
It's
is the person
disrespectful
chayav?
to tell your father you're not going to benefit from it.
Well, that's another thing that was bothering me, Taka Avi. Is that a chutzpah to not benefit from the father? I guess. If it was that he's making it that his father can benefit from him, okay. But to not benefit from the father, is that such a chutzpah?
I think the Ron says it.
Does he?
Well, this
I
fellow
don't
was
remember.
38 years
I don't know.
old.
He says a lot.
In
So
the
you can throw almost anything in
He
there.
was living in his father's basement. His father was happy when he said this.
Oh, is that the
Right.
case?
Maybe this yoiners and the father can go out and do something. You know?
Right. Wasn't that a problem during Corona where the guys moved in with their parents, all the college guys, and they never left, right? There was right.
Right. Then he put his wife in that basement when he was done there.
yeah. Anyways, whatever it is. So the first one is that the father was one of the people, so therefore the whole thing's God. That's case number one. Case number two is she'eini nene. Now he says it totally different. Now here our Gemara has the word loy in it. The Bach takes it out. She'eini nene zeh lezeh v'lezeh. He says specific people that I'm not going to benefit from Ruvain, Shimon, however many people there. Chuter harishon, but then if the first one became mutter, let's say it was his father, so then hutter kulam, then they all become mutter. But hutter achron, but if only the last guy, again, he's going through each one personally. He's doing personalized nedarim here. He's not doing a communal assur. He's going person by person. So if the first one became batal, so then okay, they all fall like dominoes. And since the neder didn't apply to the first, it's not going to apply to the rest of them either. But if the last guy that he mentioned ends up being that he can't be a neder, then only that guy goes out and not anybody else. So huto achron mutter b'kulan asuran. All the other ones are
So
assur.
when it says that, does it mean, let's say the 10 people
Yeah.
and 7 fell off? So 7, 8, 9, 10 fall off, and 1, 2, 3, 4,
No.
5,
It goes
6.
both the first or the last, and that's it. If the first goes down,
And if in
they
the
all
middle?
follow him. No. I mean,
That's
from
what I'm asking,
yeah.
from
So we'll
5
see. So we'll get to that. Very good. Yeah. So anyway, so those are the three cases. Again, the first case is he makes a what do you call it? A klaliistic, a communal neder. And if one of them is found that it's a mistake, so then they all go. There's no neder. Second case is where he did it specific people. If the first one ends up being improper neder, so then the rest fall behind and they all become the neder is batal. And if it's the last, then not. Yeah. So now where's the kasha? So Bishlam al Rava. So this whole Gemara makes sense according to Rava, right? Because Rava says that Beis Shamai does not go with that neder becomes bottle. If it's bottle for one, it's bottle for others, right? So mukimla, what's he going to say? The reisha. So he's going to say that the reisha, which here means the first two cases, the communal case and then the specific case. So he's going to say that it's talking about what he said each and every one. The seifa, the amar lekolchem, and the seifa is talking about where he said that he said it to all of them at the same time, right? And therefore, that's why the halacha changes. Meaning,
Just mix up the Rishon and Sefer?
yes. El l'didach, but according to you, meaning according to Rava, Bishlam reisha maikim la damar lekulchem, which is the way we said it originally. The first case is talking about where he said it to all of them. So therefore, once one goes down and the neder doesn't work on one, it doesn't work on the rest of them. On Talmud Beis now, El seifa damar lezev lezev. But if you're going to say the seifa is going on each individual person, Rabbi Akiva, so can you say that it's Rabbi Akiva? Amai. Right? Amai pligi Rabanan. Why would the Rabanan disagree with Rabbi Akiva? You said that if he would have changed the din, not the din, if he would have changed the terminology of his neder, he would have, then it changes the whole din, and everybody would hold that it's okay. So how do you understand in the sefer that the neder still stands? According to you, the neder should be totally nullified. So Amalei Rava. So Rava said back, and this is Rav Papa who asked, Amalei Rava, Ula Rabba, Rabbi Akiva, minicha, and in Rabba, what is he going to do with Rabbi Akiva? Sefer b'mayim maikim, because what are you going to say the sefer is talking about? The Amar lekulchem, where he said all of you are assur to me. Heidin hu rishon. So then which one is the first? The heidin hu achar, and which one is the last? Right? He said to all of them. So why are you saying that only? Meaning, if he said to all of them, and then one of them goes down, then l'chayra, that should make them all potter too. So how does Rabbah understand it according to Rabbi Akiva? So Ella, so what's a pshat? This is the teretz now. So Ella Reisha Dharma Lekuchem. So it must be that the Reisha said that he made a neder according to all of them. The safe, not according, against all of them. The seifa, going to talon zebazeh. Right? What he did is he said each one's, the assur, the neder from each one goes on the other one. Yeah, meaning he says, Ruvain, I'm not getting hana from Reuven. Then he says, I'm not getting hana from Shimon the same way. Well, I don't know if he says, I'm not getting hana, or he just says, Shimon is like Reuven. Then he says, Levi is like Shimon, who's like Reuven. Right? The whole chad gadya. So they're all totally zeh b'zeh. Right? V'amar, Pliny ke Pliny, Pliny ke Pliny. He said, Pliny is like Pliny, and Pliny is like Pliny. Right? So Memela, they're all contingent on each other. So therefore, meaning, and the last guy is not on anybody. So therefore, he's that's why he says the din that way. Zegan Hami, and what's a diak like this? Tanya Chutaram Tzoi. This is what Naftali was saying. If the middle guy became mutter, right? So meaning that it was a mistake. So then, Heimenu ulamata mutarim, from him and down are all going to be mutar. Correct. Ulamala, and anybody from him and above are going to be assur. One second. What did you just say? Now, tell me the bottom.
From 5 to 10 becomes mutter. From 1 to 5 stays assur.
Right. Correct. Yeah. Very good. Fine. So that's kasha number one. I keep saying it and I make it think like I sound like I really understand this. I'm telling you, if anybody's having a hard time with this, I keep thinking, do I really understand this? And I think that I don't understand it, but I don't know. I'm not sure of all the different variables here. I'm not sure I get all the different variables. Okay, that's the hardest of the kashas. Now we have another kasha. So Ravada Rava asked the kasha Rava. The guy makes a neder. Kainam batzal. He says, I'm making a neder. I'm not eating onions. Shani tayim. He said, he's saying I'm making a neder that I'm not going to taste onions. That's a literal translation. Shabbat, I don't know why it says not oichel. He says not tasting. I mean, obviously eating is kol shekain. Okay, but he's making a neder. Yeah.
Excuse me. So he could have a martini with a pearl onion in it. So is he tasting the onion or is he tasting the martini?
I hear.
You're not tasting the onion while you put it in there.
You want to get some of the taste
question.
into the martini. I mean, that you could ding all the time and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Wait, in Hilchas Brachas, Tayyim just means an achila without a kaviyas suda.
What are you saying?
In Hilchas Brachas, Tayyim just means an achila without kaviyas suda. In Hilchas Tainus, Tayyim means an achila without bliya.
We're learning Gemara.
Which Tayyim is
Don't
this?
bring in halacha.
What?
I said we're learning Gemara. Don't bring in halacha.
Oh, that's not what Gemara is. Sorry.
Yeah.
It
So-
means an achila.
Tayyim means
There's
achila.
no kaviyas
Okay.
suda.
No, but it's interesting that it's not using a lashon of achila. Okay, whatever it is. So he says kind of that he's not eating onions. Why? Shabbat or ralev. Onions are bad for the heart. Is that true? I don't know. Is that the? I don't know what medical
That's what
knowledge.
Shlomo, so they went through all.
Yeah. Amrullah, he said to him, hakafri yafel. There's a type of onion called kufri.
It might be
That
the herring and the mezainis and the schnapps that come with the
All
onion.
right, I was just about to say maybe the herring, not the onions that are in the herring, but yeah,
I
maybe
hear
the
that.
liver, not the onions in the liver.
Yeah. Yeah. So Amrullah, kufri yafel. Kufri is yafel, right? So meaning, so why is he assering all onions? So hutter b'kufri. So he's allowed to eat kufri because he didn't mean for them to be assur. The loy b'kufri b'vad hutter, and not only can he eat the kufri, ela b'chola b'tzolim, he could eat all the onions. Same case, like we're saying, because he made a mistake. Meaning he wouldn't have. He said onions are assur because he said they're all no good for the heart. But then they told him, or somebody, whatever, or he became aware that there are certain onions that are okay. So we're
That's like
saying
the
that all
ratio.
onions are okay,
So
right?
that's like the ratio.
Yeah. So Maisa Haya v'tiru meir b'chola b'tzalim, and there was a Maisa where a meir allowed all the onions. Okay, so what's the case? My love, Damar ilu hayisi yadesh kufri yafel. He says, had I known that kufri was good for the heart, meaning, so the Gemara is clearly saying that he did not know. He was not aware that there are onions that are good for the heart. I would have said that all onions are assur and kufri are mutter, meaning he would have changed the terminology, right? But it's mashma that if he would have kept the original terms and he would have said, I'm keeping my heter on the onions, I'm just not going to do the kufri onions, right? So then maybe he would say the pshat is different, right? And we were saying that he has to go Rameir, but we're saying Rameir here mattered it all. So our answer is lie, Ba'aimer, he didn't so. So again, like we said before, we're just going to change exactly what he would have said. Lie, Ba'aimer, somewhere what he said, Ilu hayisi yadesha kufri yafel leiv, had I known that kufri was good for the heart, hayisi Aimer, batzel pliny assur, and I would have said, this specific types of onions are assur, but kufri mutter. Kufri is mutter. Right? But if he would have totally changed his terminology, right, then everybody would have held that all the nedarim are batal. But meir, I'll leave it to Akiva, I'll leave it to Rabanan, and then meir can work out according to Akiva and according to the Rabanan. Fine. So then Esvei, third kasha on Rava, Esvei Ravina the Rava, Rabbi Nosson Aimer. Rabbi Nosson said, Yesh neder shem miktsasei mutter and miktsasei assur. There's a neder that part is mutter and part is assur. Ketzad, neder min al kalkola. If a guy makes a neder from a basket. Now a basket of what? So we see on the next number that it means figs. We'll go to the Mishnah, because tomorrow I might not have as much time as Hashem. But anyways, but we're not going down that road, Rabanan. Don't worry. B'nice shuach. So this is interesting because B'nai Shuach is they're white. The voice of Rashi says in Avodah Zarah that they're white figs, right? So the question is, are they worse or better? So the other Gemaras make it sound like they're not as good. This Gemara clearly is saying that they're better. This guy made a neder. He's not eating these junky figs, right? And then he realized that inside all these junky figs, in the basket of junky figs, are these chashuva figs. V'amar, and he said, Ilu yisi yadeh shebnai shuach b'saycha. As I'm going through the Gemara, I keep thinking Naphtali seems to be right, as painful as that is. But right, it seems like this is like a Pesach, right? Okay, we're not going. Let's finish the Gemara first. Had I known that there were these fancy figs in there, neder, I wouldn't have made the neder. So assura. So the basket of figs is assur. The B'nai Shuach mutaris and the B'nai Shuach mutar. Again, you see they're splitting. This price is splitting up the neder, right? The stuff that he made the mistake with becomes mutar. The rest of the figs become assur. Akiva, until Rabbi Akiva came along, the limit, and he learned, and he taught neder shuta miktsase huta kula. So if part of the neder becomes mutar, then the whole thing becomes mutar. So now my love, now what are we talking about? What's the case? The ilu, my love, the Amar, isn't it talking about what he said? Ilu hayisa yedash b'nai shua pasaycha. The guy says, had I known that in this basket of figs that I hated, there would be some nice figs, hayisi aimer te'enim shchayris ulevanes assuris. I would have said that the black ones are, well, the black te'enim shchayris ulevanes are assur. The black and the white figs are assur. B'nai shuach mutaras, and the b'nai shuach is mutar. Rabbi Akiva he, and it's Rabbi Akiva upligi Rabanan, and the Rabanan disagree with Rabbi Akiva, right? So isn't that what the case is? So therefore, Rava though should have held that everybody holds that it's bottle, right? When the guy says he would have changed his terminology, Rava holds that everybody holds that it's out. That's the neder's gone. So how are you going to say it? So again, the Gemara just tweaks exactly what his terminology was. Somehow what he said, if I would have known that there was B'nai Shuach in there, I would have said the entire basket's assur, but B'nai Shuach mutaris and B'nai Shuach mutar. So there he is maintaining the original neder. He's saying I would have kept my neder. I would have just said B'nai Shuach is mutar. Fine. So then the Gemara says, Man Tana Lohad the Tana Rabanan. Who's the Tana that the Rabanan learned here? Neder mechamisha b'nei adam ke'echad. Let's say a guy makes a neder that he, from 5 different people, he's not going to get hana from them, right? So he says, meaning the way the Rashi says it is that
He specifies each one.
Yeah. He says, Pliny asurin, Pliny mutter, and then one guy is mutter. Right? Meaning if he says all of them are assur, seemingly naming them, right? So again, let's see. Nadar mechamesha b'nei adam ke'echad, hutter le'echad mehem hutru kulam. If one of them became mutter to him, then they're all going to become mutter. Like what would be the case? If one of the 5 people, well, I guess he couldn't name it by name then, because then how would he know? Has to be the name by name. He just must have said, hey, these 5 guys are all assur, and then he realized that one of those 5 guys is his father. So once one becomes mutter, they all become mutter. Chutz me'echan mehen, except for one of them. What does that mean? Hu mutter v'hein asurin. If there's one there, then he is going to be mutter, and the other ones are assur.
What does that mean?
Right? Meaning it's 2 different cases. There's 2 different cases. Right? Meaning there's 2 cases here. The first case is he fed 5 guys. One of them ends up his father. We say they're all wiped clean. There's no neder on any of them. Then the second case is that no, there's one of them will become mutter and the rest will become assur. 2 different cases.
The second case he says 4 out of the 5 are assur.
Well, he said all 5, but
the
then one of
case.
them becomes mutter and the other 4 stay assur.
So what's the 2 cases? He said the same thing.
What? Well,
He said
that's
the same.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
So
he
all
said-
five are assur. In one case,
no,
we
tell him
pass-
maybe, overseer,
Okay, go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
father automatically becomes mutter when he finds out one of the people is his father. The second case, for whatever reason, somebody became mutter. It doesn't tell you that what the reason.
Right, but
It's
it
not
could-
an
but-
automatic like his father. It's for whatever it was.
That could be, but also it seems like the nafkamina would be is what was his terminology when he redid the neder, right? When he redid the neder. Either way, so Gemara says, Ila Rabba, Reisha, Rabba Kiva, V'Sefer Divrei HaKol. So according to Rabba, how's he gonna? It's a stira, right? It's a stira. One case, one of the guys becomes mutter, and the rest of them follow, and they're all mutter. In the second case, no, one guy becomes mutter, and the other four are assur, right? So we know we have a machlokes about whether this is the way it goes. So Ila Rabba, so Rabba is going to say Reisha Rabbi Kiva, right? The Reisha is Rabbi Kiva, who says once you matter one, you matter all of them. So that's how they all became mutter. The Sefer Divrei HaKol, and the Sefer is going according to everybody, right? And it has to be talking about where he changed he would have changed the terminology of his neder. In Ila Rava, and if it's according to Rava, Sefer Rabanan, the Sefer is going to the Rabanan. The Reisha Divrei HaKol, and the Reisha is going according to everybody, right? Because he according to Rava, if the neder would have been totally changed, then everybody holds it as mutter. So basically, what comes out, after all this, although we just have to. Well, I mean, we have to understand the whole Gemara and the Shaglatai, but the bottom line is that the Machlokes between Rabba and Rava is when a person would have changed the total terminology of his neder because his father was in there, or because there were better figs, or because there were different types of onions, right? Whatever the case may be, and if he would have changed, according to Rabba, if he would have changed the entire terminology, then everybody would hold that the whole neder is batal. And the whole machlokes is if he wouldn't have changed it, he would have just tweaked it. Then there's a machlokes of Beis Shamai and Beis Hillel. And Rava says no, the other way around, right? Either way, the Gemara doesn't paskin. The Gemara doesn't paskin, doesn't come out the maskana which way it goes. So it's just saying it's a machlokes Rava and Rava. Yeah. Okay, so
Rava's the Basra, no?
What?
Rava's the Basra.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't see Shulchan Aruch yet, but I was busy with a kid from Lakewood who made a shvua. I forgot. I wanted to say this over. A kid made a shvua today. He says, "I'm making a shvua." He says, "I swear, if you don't show up by a certain time, I'm leaving without you." So he didn't say what the story was. Like, did he leave without him? But he wanted to know if he made a shvua, right? So I told him, no, it's not a shvua. So the guy says, is there a reason? So I was like, what do you mean, is there a reason? What do you think? There's no reason? So I just said no, no reason, because I was just playing with the guy. Then I forgot about it. Then I get a call from a 732 number, and then I was in the middle of minors, and the text comes in and it says, my friend asked you if there was a reason why the shvua is not a shvua. Can you please explain to me the reason? So I texted back. I said, why don't you have your friend ask? So then the kid, the original kid texts me and says, my Rebbe wants to know why it's not a shvua. I was like, oh no. So whatever. I came up with some sort of Torah. And I said, I don't believe that that's called saying I swear. First of all, he didn't say to Hashem, which is a machlokes. But Lamaisa, we paskin that it's you don't have to say I swear to G whatever. But
wasn't he going to be Mizarez? He was just doing it to get the guy to.
Oh, very good. So that's what the Rebbe asked in the text. He says, "Are you saying it's mutter because all he was doing was to be Mizarez, this kid to come on time?" Which is what we learned that's not a neder. We said a shvu was like that. So that was one. That was good because I didn't even think about that, Doctor. I said that sounds good too.
If he was a yeki, it's a real shvua. I mean, the guy's what's going to leave.
Does anyone care about these when we're not in the Gemara of Nedarim?
It's interesting. I was wondering if the guy was learning the Nedarim, but otherwise the Rebbe is pretty impressive. If he wasn't, I'm learning the Nedarim, so okay. So I had evidence. Then I said, I don't believe that is that called making a shvua? A guy says, I swear. A kid says that. I don't think that's. I don't think he means that he's swearing. Does that make sense?
That's the way we speak.
Yeah, it's just like like we learned.
It's like you see 600,000 ants.
right, and calling them
Oh,
the
you got me what
Mitzrayim.
Rav Yaakov list.
Yeah.
I looked up today, and counting what Gershon said, the ladies and the kids by Yetzias Mitzrayim. In modern times, the 10 largest crowds in the world were between 5 million and 50 million people in one location. Between
And
5 million, he gave 10 different things.
In the modern times,
Modern times, yeah, between 5 million.
How many of them were
50
Mecca
million.
and Medina?
What?
How many of them were Mecca and Medina?
Mecca,
modern
like
times.
no, I'm
Mecca,
saying
yeah.
Mecca.
I think 2 were Mecca by Karbala. Yeah, I think 2 were Mecca.
They
Yeah,
get
there
so
was
many
another one in
people there.
China, I think.
They
and
get
one in Brazil.
there was between 8 and 10 million people. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the number one in America is NASCAR.
I hear that. That's funny.
I thought it was gracious.
Why don't we just the biggest, what do you call it, parade, the ticker tape in New York was when MacArthur had his parade in 1951 with 7.5 million people. And they said, from Shiach, with the Cubs in 2016, was 5 million people.
You serious?
Yeah, they said, I mean,
Wow.
one of the speakers, they showed you one of the speakers,
Not
and he
good,
said,
not
for
good,
all
not
you kids and workers who are here today, don't worry, because your teachers and your bosses are here today also. So don't worry about anything.
Going back to the kids with the shua, the
Yeah.
swearing. Why don't we just figure out what he meant? I mean, why don't we just ask him? Did you mean to just?
No, he meant that, but he made us. He said, "I swear." So the
He
question
meant he
is
was gonna
now.
leave. He meant he was gonna leave.
Oh, I don't know why. I didn't ask.
Yeah,
what
but
the
that's
end
all
of the
by
story
Nedarim.
was.
We learned it. We didn't learn that by Shavuos. It's all by Nedarim.
Right. No, but we said for this, the Shulchan Aruch says the shvu is the same. The shvu is the same. The Gemara in Friday's daf had the chilufe gersayis. In the Shulchan Aruch, it comes. It
And
says.
Nidre Havai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have asked him what his gear says on Kol Nidre. Does he say the parentheses?
Yeah.
Then it doesn't count because he already nullified it before he said it.
I thought about that too, but I don't think that works. I don't think Ma'aser Mador works in making a shvur like that.
What's the maskana halach l'maisa with Aldas Moshe, Aldas Torah? Do you need to say that, or is it subjective? I thought we said it's objective.
What do you mean to make us when you say a shvur?
Whatever the lashon is, no. The lashon of the shvur is objective, is what everyone would say it means, not what this guy thinks it means.
Yeah, I think that's what we came out. I think that's what we came out. Still working on that. Peretz, what were you saying?
No, I'm saying that Trump had the most by his inauguration.
Voting on his Twitter account doesn't count.
That's right. Okay. On that note, we'll wish everybody a fine night. And tomorrow I'll post on the chat exactly what time we'll start. Should be B'erech 8:30. Might be a little late. Probably not before then, but give or take around 8:30. All right.
So Yaakov, can I ask you, Shaila?
Sure.
I have 2 possible occasions to go into England for exactly a week apart. My father's yard site and a bar mitzvah. They're both on Shabbos. So even if I was to go to my father's yard site, I wouldn't make it to the Beis Hillel on his yard site anyway. I go for the bar mitzvah?
Again.
Well, that's not me asking, by the way. That's not me asking.
When are you
I'm
lighting
asking
the
out
candle?
of Kali
Now,
Shaila.
when you're lighting the candle, that's all.
Yeah, over Shabbos, Mitzvah Shem. The question
Again,
is where?
what are two options?
Is it a chasar in Kibbutz Av?
Your side go
If
Shabbos, Shemais for Bar Mitzvah.
Is it a dichui of Kibbutz Av if I if I
this
ignore my
Shabbos-
father's yard site?
And when is the bar mitzvah?
Next Shabbos.
The yard site's by b'yayim on Shabbos,
Yep.
and the bar mitzvah is by b'yayim next Shabbos.
Yep.
Go for Bar Mitzvah.
I always say it's more important to be mechabed live people than dead people.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
But then I
father-
saw it from somebody.
There's also something within Gimel Yamim of a yard site to go to the kever. You ever heard of that?
What?
Within
What?
3 days of a yard site
Yes,
to go
yes.
to the.
See them say three days on either side.
So if I go the day after,
Gershon,
is that?
Gershon, you're talking to a cold fish. I was by my father maybe 4 times in my life.
It's Yaakov. Maybe you should make a citizen of Kivega.
Maybe.
No, but I'm asking if I'm bedafka going. If I'm going anyway, and I'm going to get there the day after, is that staring in the kibbutz?
No, why is it a shter? Anytime you go.
No, I'll go to the kever anyway. It's fine. I'll go say hi whenever I'm there. You're saying?
Yeah. What's the problem?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wish I could come tomorrow. Then I wish.
You know what?
He wishes he could take his place.
By the Leviathan, I better Feivel's Leviathan tonight. So Rebbitzin Cohen told my mother, "Are you making a chassid tomorrow?" I was planning on coming. Not with a Feivel, obviously. What? But
I was like, Feivel never traveled to be a samdik. I was the one bris he traveled for outside the family.
Taka?
Not mine. My one of my twins. He was a samdik for.
I didn't know that.
I was very close to Feivel.
What, from the night koila?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, lucky guy.
I made him. Well, I made him crazy. Well, we both did when you were there.
I tried to make him crazy. He didn't listen.
Yeah, me too.
Word. He didn't listen to a word I said, man. He was just like, "I am not home."
Nah, he heard everything.
He wouldn't. I would try to get him to discuss things. Oh, I'm not home. Okay.
Yeah.
Those were good times. Those were good times. Baruch Hashem.
Rabbi Yosef held him in very high esteem.
Yeah, the last years he was the only one he wrote to.
Yeah.
Who held him?
Java, I have all those shiurim on video, right?
Which ones?
The night call.
Really?
You went?
Yeah, you don't remember? We were chavrusas, Yaakov.
Me and you were chavrusas by the Feivel's night call?
I think so. Yeshiva Katana, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You or somebody else?
I never went to the night coil, Paris. I just went for a Feivel shiurim.
Oh, so maybe I don't remember. I think I have them.
When was this?
Yes.
Wait, can you check parrots? I would like to see some of them.
When was this?
The Hilchos Shabbos ones.
How many years ago?
6. How many years ago is this?
7, 8.
That's it? I didn't know about this.
If you have his Hilchos Shabbos ones, I would love to see them. The biter ones.
You don't have his speech by. You must have. What do I want to ask you? Yeah, my bar mitzvah.
What?
He spoke at my
your bar mitzvah.
He spoke at my bar mitzvah. My own bar mitzvah. Reb Feivel.
By your bar mitzvah?
Yes.
Wow.
The only thing I remember about his speech is that the women were talking loud and Reb Feivel stopped the speech and said, "Girls, girls."
Yeah,
He didn't say women. He said ladies. He said girls.
Nah, he didn't. Yeah. Wow.
You know what happened with me in the Shalach Manas, right?
Which one? By Feivel?
Yeah.
Those are David.
I was in Eretz Yisrael, and my father calls me, goes, "Your Feivel's in Eretz Yisrael for Purim. Go bring him Shalach Manas." So,
Yeah.
A nice one. So I buy the biggest Shalach Manas I have. I can't even go on a bus because it's too big. So I get in a taxi. I show up, knock on the door, and they're all sitting there. And I come in, Feivel, my name is Parrot Stein. This is from my father. Looking at me, and he's like, "I can't take it. I'm in the how do you say, 12 months or something?" I know you said in Hebrew. I'm like, I didn't know what it was. He goes, "I'm an oval." I'm an oval. So he said, "Okay, give it to my wife." Right? So now I'm annoyed. Tiago, I'm annoyed at Tati because, like, what, Tati didn't know? Like, what, come on, you know what I mean?
Right?
So I call up Tati, I'm all mad. I'm like, Tat, I don't understand. You didn't know he was a novel? Because I know he's a novel. A Talmud is allowed to give a Rebbe Shalach Monas. I said, I don't know. Then I don't know what's wrong with him. He didn't take it. I have to give it to his mom.
Okay, that's okay.
So Tati asked him next time he saw him, he goes, I don't understand. My son brought you Shalach Monas. Talmud's allowed to give a Rebbe Shalach Monas. It's Moshe Doiv. I don't consider you a Talmud. Chaver. Then it wasn't a wasted trip.
Yeah. That's a good Misa, Pets. I don't remember that Misa.
I was gonna say it's a very good Misa.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. It's what come to think of it, there wasn't that big an age gap between them. 12 years, right?
Ooh, my best Misa with Group 5 was Taka Taras Nadarim, now that we speak about it.
Why?
It was Matzah Neder for me. Right after my surgery, I needed something. They told me I needed something like 200 grams of protein a day or something. It wasn't healing right. And I didn't have any appetite. I had nothing. So someone suggested maybe if I could eat Chalav Stam, there would be more options. And I mentioned it to him.
With protein.
Yeah.
Right.
I mentioned it through Feivel by a scene they made to the cuddle, the night saving cuddle. And he told me, sit down in the kitchen. And he ran to find two other men. And he runs back in. He says, okay, we're going to be Matzah Neder. But he ran. He that was him. It's, yeah.
Interesting. But that means he held you shouldn't eat Chol Yisrael. Where's Aaron Horowitz for this one?
No, it wasn't to do with that. It was me. It was, whatever. And he said before he was matzah, he says, be very careful. Don't take it up again when you're healed.
Don't what?
Be very careful. Don't be makabalin on yourself easily when you're healed. Think about it first.
I mean, do it b'li neder or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Ravan right there. That's his Pesach.
Yeah.
Why would he have said that? Why would he have said that?
Because it's hard to do it once you've been matzah it. It's hard to redo it. Especially for me, I was never really mekabelit. It was misafik that Taras Nadarim. In England, Ramesha's Heter doesn't work in England. They have scandals all the time with Trefus, real Trefus. They had a burger scandal 12 years ago.
Hello, if you're coming from England, make you ever made it assur on yourself. Let's say a person moves from England to America and he never ever ate Chalav Stam because it doesn't work there. That would be assur.
Right. So that was the thing. So he said misafik. I knew it was different.
Meaning there's a tzad that
I knew there were Moshe.
There'd be no neder on you.
Right, there was a tzad. So it was misafik. But the Maisa, I knew Ramesha. I knew the halacha, and yeah. Besides, the Pri Chadash also works in England.
Quick one.
Possibly. Yeah. Anyway, he was a holy yid.
That's for sure. I want to see.
It was really special learning with him. For all the people say he's the biggest machmer, was the biggest machmer in halacha in America.
Not true.
He didn't think of himself that way. By him, it was the way he learned the sugya. It wasn't.
But I don't think he was such a machmer.
In some ways, he wasn't. But yeah.
Wow, is that like one of those things they would publish?
What?
You said you want to see his tzava.
I want to see his tzava. Because I'm sure he had every last detail. Elio, you always complain why the rabbis don't leave a tzava. I'm telling you, he probably had exactly how much time it should take to get from the airport to the Levaya back and forth.
Tiago, if you only knew someone stupid enough to ask to see it.
That's why I'm telling it to you.
Well, he knows someone closer in the family than you?
He's close to Rabbi Yamin Cohen, yeah.
Closer than you?
Elio is close to Rabbi Yamin. He speaks to him a lot more than I ever spoke to him. I spoke to him a few times.
My son got close to him. He was in campus.
Which camp?
I don't know.
Leo, you
Chaim
gonna
came
ask
back
her?
loving Rabbi Yamin Cohen. He got his sefer. He got an autograph.
What?
I don't know. That's even for me. That's a gutsy move.
I can ask Shlomi. I'm gonna ask Shlomi.
I can ask
eventually.
Shlomo also.
My brother-in-law's
I
very
could also
close.
ask him.
My brother-in-law,
What?
the one that works for Fruchtheim, was very, very close with him.
Yeah.
He was Masada Kedushin at the wedding.
Who?
My brother-in-law, the one that.
Rabbi Yom, yeah.
yeah.
No, but Yom Cohen is not the guy to date.
See, Hago, I did I tell you this? Reese saw him at a wedding a few weeks ago. Did I tell you this story?
We saw Rabbi Yamin?
Yeah, Reese saw Binyamin at a chasana, Rabbi Yamin. So he thought that I was like, whatever, that I was inflating my relationship. So he went over to Rabbi Yamin and he said, "Do you know a friend of mine?" So he said, "Who?" He said, "Ikavik." He said, Rabbi Yamin started laughing like he's never seen him laugh before. He's like, "Oh, Taka, you do know him." I said, "I'm glad that was an appropriate reaction."
How do you know him?
Does he even know what you look like? Like, if you go be Menachem, has he got any idea who you look
Yeah, no, he came when he came here. I spent time with him when he came here.
I don't remember when he came. When did he go?
For the Chanukah Sabayas, he came.
Oh, right. I remember. That's when I booked out on it because he was there.
Yes, that's right. You ditched on me. Yeah.
Yes.
How do you know him? From the phone? From asking him questions? I'm saying you have Tziyakov.
No, I don't ask him. I know him from I don't know. How do I explain how I know him?
Well,
Community matter. World
community,
matter.
Put it this way. There are people in Phoenix that are
I'm saying we're still on recording. We're still recording.
It's fine. Okay. There are people in okay, I'll stop the recording. There are if anybody's listening to the end of this recording and wants the end of it, you can call me personally.